Hey everyone, I'm not going to talk very much in this video. I'm just going to show you how I get ready. I will try to mention tips if I think of them for getting ready and doing your makeup if your vision isn't great. I'll do my best to do that, but mostly this is going to be a pretty quiet video. Just sit back and enjoy watching. Yeah, I'm just taking out my earbuds because those are going to be annoying when I'm trying to get ready. Or earbud, I guess. By the way, they're the, oh my goodness, Raycon Love Rose Gold. So, tip number one, because you're going to assume that you always have eyeshadow fallout even if you don't feel it, have cotton balls. I just have a dish of some pre-saturated ones with like micellar water. This is the decorative little dish. Don't remember where I found this, but I have a thing for decorative dishes. So yeah, I just have a few of them. I probably won't need all three that I have in here, but just always have cotton and micellar water to clean up as you go. A lot of people say do mascara after eyeshadow. I say don't, because you are likely to get marks on your skin as you go along, depending on how good you are at this. Of course, I feel like I have hair in my face already. That's nice. Maybe this won't be that quiet after all. I will make messes as I do this. That's just how this game goes. So, it's hard to do your under lashes, I found. See, I have my fingers there so I can semi-prevent little accents. This is a Bare Minerals mascara. So, yeah, it's the new one. It's Phyto something. But it has like plant fibers in it or something like that. So again, I'm just gonna do the same move I just did. I hope when you're out shopping for everyone you love that you spend some money on yourself too. Because everyone should get things that they love for the holidays. My opinion, gift cards are actually quite personal. A lot of people don't think so, but a lot of them, in my opinion, they are. Because the person can spend them on whatever they need or want. Actually, I'm going to put stuff on the chair like I've been doing in the past. And of course, my laptop case is over here. I'm going to put items on the chair so they don't roll away on me. This is a lash comb. I showed you this in a previous video. So I'm just going to do this to declump my lashes. I do this first because you don't want black marks when you're trying to do other stuff. Let's say you put all the effort into doing a very nice eyeshadow look and you love how it comes out, and then you go and put your mascara on, you get a black mark on your eyelid, then you're going to have to redo the whole thing because you're not going to know how much, if your vision's not very good, how much you need to clean off. If you get eyelash combs, make sure you clean them out now and then. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Sometimes you'll also want to comb them back up after you put eye primer on. I'm going to let that sit a minute. Yeah, no, you're not supposed to do this, but I feel like I have a giant clump. Okay. So this, geez, I'm going to actually take one of these and use it on my eyelid like right now because I feel like my eyelashes are being weirdly sticky. That was a test run, and I can't say I'm all that impressed if I'm having this kind of weird, sensation with my eyelashes. So I'm going to let that dry because now there's, something that repels makeup on that side. Let's see. I have 3 eyeshadows that I might use, or eyeshadow palettes I might use. This is the Tarte. It's one of the mini Tartelette palettes. I forget. I think it's the Tease or the Flirt. Yeah, cannot read the text on that. But it's got these purpley shades. I have the Essence Taupe It Up palette. Very worth it. And these are super cheap too. There's 7 or 8 in the series, and they are quite nice for the fact that they're $4. I grabbed the wrong palette because I wasn't looking down. Sorry, guys. Let's start over. This is not the Tarte one. This is the Lorac one. And this is Mystic Oak. I remember that. So, this is the Tarte one. I'd help if I actually look down at what I'm grabbing. This is the purpley one. So Lorac has some dramatic champagne, pearl. The taupe has taupey shades, and then this is plum stuff. So that's the kind of look I want to do. Don't know if I'll use all of these, but we'll see. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use for an eye primer. This is a Clinique. It's like a cream shadow. Basically, it's a primer or a cream shadow. And all I'm going to do, I wear this by itself a lot. And I will definitely be repurchasing when it's gone or dried out. So basically all you do with primer is you coat your eyelid with it. You do not need a lot. And pull on the brow bone. Do not put it on your lower lid because if you get fallout, it's harder to get off. So there's that, and I'm going to let that set. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with Taupe It Up. And yeah, I'm looking really close to see which shade I want. I feel like actually no, that's not what I'm starting with. I'm starting with Tarte instead of Essence. And I grabbed the Tarte one because of this top shade right here. Generally, palettes are sequenced light to dark. And so the top left will be the lightest and the bottom right will be the darkest. Now, I will tell you that the fewer shades you use, top 3 or 4 shades, easier it is for it to not get muddy and be super messy, but you are going to always assume that you have fallout. So generally people do mattes and then shimmers and then glitters because the bigger particles sit better on top of the smaller ones. So this shade I am just putting all over my lid. I will use brushes to blend this, but using finger application is better for making sure you get it where you want it, in my opinion. And you just, yes, there may be little spots outside the lid. I will say that doing things like winged liner, don't worry about that. I mean, if you're able to do your lower waterline with like a smoky gray, go for it. I don't have any eyeliner currently, unless I wanted to try to use shadow that way, but I'm not very good at it. So I just say, don't worry about that kind of thing. So again, I'm going to go in with this color, this like purpley stuff, or like plummy kind of. So like I will go over this with like fluffy brushes, I mean, and when I put stuff in the outer corner, again, I will. Now, if you are truly low vision, you're going to want to have somebody watch this with you, and they can kind of walk you through the things that I do. Okay, so that's the shade I wanted out of here. I will say that get palettes that are 8 shades or less and that are really small, like palm size. I think they are easier to work with if you kind of have to, because I'm going to explain a little bit about color theory. So the way color works is if a color is, say, a purple with brown tones or purple with gray tones, that means that the object that is that color, that purple object, is scattering purple light waves and absorbing others. So purple with some brown tones in it is scattering purple and a little bit less brown. And so a lot of color app readers, why did I say that way? Color reader devices or apps, they might get the main, it's purple, but they're not going to tell you if it's blue purple. They're not going to tell you if it's purpley brown or brownish purple. And there's another problem because some brands and websites do describe their makeup, but if they're not using somebody who understands color theory correctly, like entirely, you might have someone say that a lipstick is a pale plum with red tones when it's more like a reddish tan with a vague purple tint. So they're not describing it according to proper color theory. I'm just going to give you a heads up right now. So if you find that certain brands actually do a pretty good job with that, you are going to, or at least, yeah, if you find brands that do a pretty good job with that, meaning, let's say that you find a palette, you buy it, you read the color description, which for a change is actually there because half the time it's not, and then you show it to somebody else and they mainly agree with those color descriptions, then it's a brand you can probably trust. But within that brand, you're going to want to pick out palettes that are 8 shades or less because you're going to want to somewhat memorize what's where. And palettes have what are called color stories or color schemes, or they're supposed to. Sometimes they're not very well coordinated. You're going to want to be able to kind of remember what's in each palette. Otherwise, you're going to have to like copy paste the names and descriptions of the shades in your palettes and do a notes app on your phone and always use it, which you can do if you want, if you're dedicated. Okay, so from this taupe shade, or this taupe palette, I mean, I'm gonna use going to use a lot of people say put your deeper colors in the outer corner. I don't know how some girls do it, but they can use super dark colors over their whole eye and it still looks huge. But I'm using this bottom middle shade in the outer corner, right here. This might be a long video. So I'm just putting this in the outer corner below the brow bone. Okay. So I don't know if I want any more of that, but I don't think so. So here's where we're going to start to use some brushes. I recommend a travel set of brushes. They have shorter handles and I think they give better control, in my opinion. This is mine. This one you would use for blush and highlighter. Yeah, I know I need to clean these. And if you're really good about it, you should do that every week or so if you do your makeup a lot. I don't so much so. So you use this for blush and highlighter. You use this for all over bronzer and setting powder. I don't wear bronzer because while I do sometimes like a little bit of a plummy blush, I don't really feel like making myself look tan in the winter. I'd rather just be tan in the summer when it's natural. It's just not my jam. Although someday I might get it in my head to get a cream bronzer and try it. This is a fluffy blending brush. See how it's kind of chunky? And then, come on, go back in your little slot thing. Thank you. Thank you. You can also use this to blend. This is kind of one of my favorites. Although some people use this, let me make sure I'm talking about the right one. This is often used as a liner brush, and this is often used as a crease brush. You can just straight up blend with any of them. So for a crease, what I'm going to do with this dark color is I'm going to take it and I'm going to follow the kind of hollow between the eyelid and the brow bone, and I'm going to pull this color upward. I have hooded eyes, and I'm going to show you a trick here in a second. You're going to I'm taking it a little bit farther over than you would if you did not have hooded eyes. I said I wasn't going to talk very much, and I am babbling. So basically, I just worked that color into the crease. I will clean up fallout when I'm done. Which I just assume that I have. That's just normal. Come on. Go back in your little hangout. Thank you. So yeah, this kind of, the crease is more of a like feathery looking brush. And your liner has a flat edge. Okay. So for me, this is the star of the show, this Lorac Mystic Oak. And I'm going to use these top two shades. So for a little bit of a middle sparkle, I am going to get fallout with this. In the middle of my eyelid, but not too far inward and not too far outward, I'm applying this champagne color. And I'm kind of giving myself a close check really quick. So I'm going to do the same. Actually, shit. Wipe that off because I don't really care if I get powder on this shirt. I've been wearing it all day. It's actually like 1 a.m. right now, but I'm in a really good mood and I don't feel like going to bed, so that's why I'm filming right now. So yeah, I'm basically going to destroy all this work after I get off, but I feel like it's worth showing you, and I've been thinking about it for a while. See, I did just get fallout. I have fallout all down my face right now. I could feel that, but sometimes you can't. Glittery shades are more likely to drop dust, and some formulas are more powdery than others. I did not do that quite as neatly as I normally would. So this is where I'm going to take the fluffy brush and start to kind of mesh them together by just doing a patting like this. And I'm not done with this yet. Sometimes shades can get muddy, or you can overblend and kind of cancel them by accident. I'm cleaning my fingers as I do this just to like not contaminate each shadow pan with other shades. And then this one on the far, like, well, when I'm holding the palette facing me, it's far left, and so to you right now it's far left, I think, is this shade right here. So I'm just going to take that and put it on the inside. Be good if I had grabbed something with a good silver in it, but I didn't, and that's okay. So I'm going to clean up, I'm going to blend, and I'm going to clean up fallout. Do that one more time. So I'm just going to kind of pull these two colors, the middle and the inner, together. So I did a deeper shade on the outside and blended it up into my crease. I did a sparkly middle lid shade, and then I did an inner corner kind of bright. This might be a matte, but I feel like it's more satin looking kind of shade. Just assume it. I love the deep bold shades, but they take a lot for me to work with. I do wish that was a bit more sparkly on the inside. I love those deep bold shades, but the thing with them is it's really hard for you to work with if you're low vision. What I call pale, if you are into like the kind of subculture stuff, this is just makeup remover to get rid of anything I don't want. If you're into that, look at colors that I consider like pale grunge. So you're talking taupes, grays, plums. But then I love like the warm, so I go for like your pinks, your pearls, your ivories. Basically just assume there could be fallout anywhere. So you almost cleanse your face mid-project if you have to make that assumption. But especially get like your inner corner, or like the orbit of your eyes around the edges, around your eyebrow, inner, like side of your nose, like that. I'm going to quickly demonstrate while this dries, because it will have to dry, what you would do with concealer. So I have naturally dark shadows under my eyes. That's just the way it is. It's actually genetic for me. Some people are insecure about them. You can also have, acne that you want to conceal. For acne, you want a green tinted concealer, and for dark under eyes, you want... Or, sorry. All right, don't listen to me about that part, because I don't really use it. It's either green or lavender, because you're canceling out the red. There's like green, lavender, and yellow-based concealer. You want the yellowish for your under eye shadows. Obviously, you know, concealer needs to be lots and lots of different shades because people have lots and lots of different skin tones, from deep, cool tone dark to very, very warm tone white to snow angel to... You get the idea. So what you do with concealer is, I think, a stick or a pot style concealer, so it's kind of a firm, like, cream formula. What you do for that is, if it's an acne spot like the one I've got right here, you're gonna take it and dab it over the spot and then just kind of give it a swirl and make sure it's really blended. If you're doing under eye, you're gonna put like 3 dots, like dot, 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 and then you're gonna gently kind of blend this way. And it's right on the bottom edge of the eye socket bone that you're doing this. So that's how you do that. If you have rosacea or other like redness things, I don't really know how to do concealer for those because that's not a problem I have. But yeah, I don't use concealer because I don't actually, and I guess I'm just not really self-conscious about that stuff. So I know how to use it, but you're not going to see it in this demo. Okay, my face is basically dry. So, by the way, I don't know the brand of these. My friend gave me these as a birthday gift. I love them. They are my brush set, even though they're technically travel. And it's leopard print, so it's great. Okay, let's not lose the lip gloss. Actually, I'm gonna put that in my pocket because I'm worried about it rolling off. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is, this is Tinted Moisturizer. This is the Wet n Wild, I think, and I use 2 shades. This is my winter shade. I have 1 step down for my summer shade. And like I've said in other videos, this stuff comes out kind of fast. You can do this with a beauty sponge, but I just like to do it with my fingers because beauty sponges can hold a lot of bacteria. But anyway, as I've said in other videos, I do my makeup not especially frequently. So I go through tubes pretty slowly. And mostly you want to do kind of like little circular motions with your fingertips like this to apply. You can buy powder foundations, which you would apply with the big fluffy brush. A lot of people have multiple brushes. Like they'll have 3 fluffies for your foundation, your bronzer, and your setting powder, for instance. This is tinted. I'm actually gonna... I'm being really sparing because like I've had it kind of like gush out the last couple times, and I don't want to deal with that today because then you... Jeez, this is being a long video. Because then you have excess you have to figure out what to do with. So yeah, just swirl. Tinted Moisturizer gives a small amount of coverage. It just kind of makes your skin look just a little bit more... I don't want to say flawless because I'm going to be straight up, this is my opinion, beautiful and flawless are not the same thing. Flawless is magazine stuff, it's artificial, it's kind of BS. Beautiful comes in a lot of different varieties. Whether you are, you know, kind of punk goth, or you go for like the minimal makeup, very ritzy aesthetic. Yeah, I'm using like my full hand now because I'm actually trying to speed this up a little bit. Eyeshadow is always the longest part in getting ready. Whatever your aesthetic is, be artistic, be expressive. Don't just buy into something a magazine tells you. Please don't do that. So when you do foundation, tinted moisturizer, you want to bring it down into your neck, because there's generally a big color change between your face and your neck, especially if you enjoy getting some natural color. My face is year-round, even when I'm not doing that. My face is naturally generally a lot darker than my neck is. I'm actually bringing this right down to my chest. And honestly, even though my chest is, again, a great deal of a different color, bringing down your base is it's a way to kind of start to even those out. Even if it doesn't completely erase the shade differences, it sort of blurs them a little bit. If I were using foundation, the order I would have done this sequence would have been primer, which is generally something that kind of smooths your skin and helps to prep. Then I would have done my concealer, and then I would have done my foundation. But since I only use Tinted Moisturizer and I don't need primer or concealer, it's one step instead of three. So I do my mascara, primer, shadow, clean up, and then if I was going to do foundation and concealer and primer and all that stuff, I'd do primer first, then concealer, then foundation. And use like small amounts and spread them as far as they go and get more as needed. You don't want a shit ton at once. So that is that. Let that set a little bit. Now I'm going to use, you can pull from your eyeshadow, which is what most people do, for your brow bone highlight. I decided I'm going to just use the highlight I'm going to use on the rest of my face, which is this little NYX guy. Oh wait, that's the wrong thing. Again, I'm not looking. This is the one I'm going to use. This comes later. This is setting powder. This is highlight. This is also NYX though. At least this time I got the brand right. So this is a NYX Glass Skin. I have maybe slightly different priorities to some people when it comes to my highlight, because I like to highlight a little bit in the center of my forehead just by swirling a little bit on, and I will take a blending brush to this in a second when I'm done with all of it. So I do that because I like to kind of accentuate my forehead just a little bit. Upper lip, which they call your Cupid's bow. And then across the top of your cheekbones. And I usually like to curve it up on the outside of my eye just a little bit. A lot of people want to give themselves like the big round doll cheeks and big eyes and stuff. I'm more interested in kind of giving myself more of that like smart girl face with the wider forehead and kind of strong cheekbones. Like that's just more my jam. So again, I'm gonna as I said, I will take a blending brush to this here in a second. For your brow bone, this is a very interesting product because it's almost powder-like as you apply it, but it has a very gel-like feel in the pan. Your brow bone, a lot of people just do where I'm working right now, but when you have hooded eyes, not only do you take your crease farther up, you bring your brow bone product. I have like really loose skin right there, and I don't like it. You bring your brow bone product farther over, and what that does is it kind of really helps to make your eyes look more open. So again, I'm going to do this. This is the NYX Glass Skin Highlighter. And I rather love it. Even though it's a super weird feel. Oh, I should talk about something that you would do after. Now, if you are low vision, I do not recommend messing with colored brow pencils. Just don't. What I do recommend is learning to razor your brows or getting them threaded and or waxed every 6 to 8 weeks. I don't always bother because my eyebrows don't bother me that they're not perfectly identical. Get that done and then get what's called brow gel, but get it in a clear. Now what you're going to do is a clear brow gel has basically like a mascara style prickly looking wand. And you're going to take it and do this following the curve of the hairs. If you get your brows waxed or threaded and then you use a brow gel to comb them so they're all going the same direction, you'll have very polished looking brows, but they'll just be like natural. You can get them tinted. It does cost a bit though. So I'm going to take this kind of flat facial brush, and on my forehead I'm going to do like this, just to kind of make sure it's not super weird looking. Upper lip, which is the Cupid's bow. Some people do the bridge of their nose. I don't. I don't feel the need to. And then again, going this way. Hopefully I did a good job blending that, but it's supposed to be a very soft shimmer anyway. Blush. Now this one, even though it's this very soft color, it is very pigmented, I discovered. My face was like glowing plum color when I did it. So just be mindful. So you want to smile and then use your fingertips and blend. And even that might have been a little bit much, sorry. I like either super pale rose or super pale plum like this. This is just a little deeper than I intended it to be in real life, so I have to be super cautious. Get someone to help you like pick out blushes that are friendly to your both your skin tone and your aesthetic, please. You can also get like taupey ones that have like a slight gray tinge, which is really cool. Cream blushes are fun. All right, so I'm going to just quickly give that another little quick buff, just to make sure it's not looking super intense anywhere it shouldn't. I'm not as coordinated with my right hand, so I have a tendency to try to do it with my left hand and then realize it's not working. So that's blush. I'm going to grab one of my palettes really quick and make sure I like how this is going. Mirrors are kind of not your friend because depending on the like some people can get enough magnification that it helps. Some people, like me, have a little bit more trouble. I think it's still a little bit much, but and the fact that I see that probably means that you guys think it's insane. I'm just giving like a little bit more swirl to kind of. feel like that's probably good. Maybe it's just the way the light is hitting off my face, but it seems really intense even though I was lighter handed on it than I've been before. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do before the final step, which is lip product. Hang on a second. I think this comb is about to break based on the sound the hinge just made. Hell, I feel like I did some like eyeshadow fallout in my mascara, which was really irritating. Yeah, that happens. Okay. This is the setting powder that I was talking about, that I called a highlighter because I wasn't paying attention, even though it's a lot tinier. I don't need this very often. I mostly use setting powder in the summer or when I know I might sweat. So what you do with this is you basically just run your big, chunky, fluffy brush. You don't need to use your fingers for this because you're not as worried about quantity. Now this is called ashing, where you tap it so you shed the excess. And what this is going to do is I'm just going to brush it over my face. And this helps set my makeup. If you do your eyeshadow strictly using brushes, you do want to ash quite a bit. But I showed you kind of like the method that I use. A lot of setting powder, especially if it's labeled as mattifying, is also good if you have oily skin, meaning you get a lot of acne. Because you may not be able to see it, but your skin tends to be a little bit on the shiny side. I have what I consider combo skin. No one's told me this, but I get both acne and dry patches. You don't want to get a hair in my face. Or even feel like it. So I'm going to go ahead and take that down my neck. I forgot to put a headband on. If you have long or even like chin length hair, put a headband on. Or use clips. It'll save you grief. Especially if you have dark hair and you're using like a white colored powder. So yeah, that's how I set my face. So, I don't think it broke. If it did, it was like $5. I just dropped that and it rolled all the way across the room. Good job. Smooth move. So we're done with that. The lip I picked out. Now again, I love the deep, bold, unusual lip shades, but I've realized that it's better for me to use the pale lip shades. Now because I did colorful eyeshadow and a colorful cheek, I'm going to use a chill lip. This is a MAC lip gloss. Which is basically a standard lip gloss. I'm going to give you some straight up advice. Do not buy the Dazzle Gloss. That stuff makes your lips feel like glue. It's gross. But this is a standard lip gloss. I'm going to say that, especially if you're learning makeup, try to stick to formulas that are matte bullet lips because the creamy, hydrating ones can get outside your lip lines. Or thicker lip glosses or liquid lipsticks that have more of like a moussey formula. You don't want watery liquid lips and you don't want messy bullets because they will smudge even if you're not touching your face. That happens to me all the time. I have to literally what I do is I take close-up selfies of my work after I'm done and I kind of look for, especially if I'm wearing a dark lip, I look for any random little dots outside of my lip line. Now, one thing you can pick up is either Urban Decay Ozone multi-purpose pencil, which is a big chunky pencil, or you can get CoverGirl No More Feathering clear lip liner. Those things can help with bleeding and feathering so you don't have to worry about your stuff being a mess. But seriously, if you pick formulas in like pale shades, rose, beige, things like that, or like deeper browns if you are darker skinned. And you can find ones that are like, they have a little gray tint to them or a little bit of like a purpley tint to them so you can be a little bit edgy. If you pick the pale shades in formulas, you can feel what you're doing, and you're, you know, relatively light-handed about it. You can mostly escape that. I don't know why I said it that way. I'm talking too fast. Which is nice because, to be totally honest, I don't want to have to carry 2 lip products and do a 2-step process every stinking time. So this one, pale shade like this, a beige, is, you know, if you smudge it a little bit, it's safe. I don't have... That's how I've been taught how to do my lip products. It's not everyone's, but it's what works. Not everyone does that. Sometimes they take the applicator all the way around their lips. That is how I was taught briefly when I worked for Mary Kay. Don't work for Mary Kay. It's not good. But anyway, that's what I was taught. I would do my brow gel. I haven't done my brows in a while, and I don't have any clear brow gel, so I can't do that for you today. But I wanted to show you kind of how I get ready. If the blush is a little overly intense, oops. It doesn't look horrible to me if I really blend the hell out of it, but if it still looks too intense to you, like, meh. But yeah, that's how I roll when I do my makeup. And I hope you enjoyed this. I am sorry it's super long. I didn't think I would talk this much. I thought I would sit here and just do my thing and show you how it looks. Thanks for watching.